Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today sponsored by Basant Motors, celebrating over 30 years in the business. Let them show you why they are a top-rated pre-owned car dealer. Learn more at BasantMotors.com. 60, make that, I said 60, 40, and 13, 50, 40, and 13.
Yeah, 50, 40.
For Bruce Boudreau.
He wishes
bottom line, though, he's a winning head coach, and they let him go. Coming up later in the program, we also hope to get to the tweet that I put out yesterday that I thought was just spot on, full of humor, and some people, like you and Ryan, didn't get it. So we'll deal with that later. Canucks let go of Bruce Boudreau. They hire Rick Tocchet. Here to talk about it from the province, province.com, a very busy, and we thank him for joining us. Patrick Johnston, how are you, sir?
Uh-oh.
Okay. We can't hear Patrick? Okay. Look at Patrick. He's dumbfounded. We'll get him.
That's not the first time. That's the first time he looks like. Anyways, he can't hear us. Can he hear us?
Okay. And we can't hear him.
We can't hear him.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. So away we go. What were you doing on the weekend there, Ryan? What were you up to?
Yeah.
Okay,
This is a new one because I had a full chat with Patrick before.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any idea?
Are we trying
Hold
to
on.
Do we move
Hey,
on?
Patrick, I know you can hear me. I'm going to kick you out of the Zoom and bring you back in. Hold on a sec.
People, right now you're getting an idea of the inner workings of Donnie and Dolly. It's fascinating, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this as we wait for Patrick Johnston, and if things don't work out, Ryan, we'll take a break and then figure it out in the break. But in the meantime, we both agree that he came across well. Rick Tocchet came across well yesterday.
I did. I do. I think he did.
Okay. You want to expand on that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. He said the two biggest issues, Donnie, were penalty killing and goals against. It's not good enough. And he said something twice that really hit me hard. Hard rules. There's going to be hard rules on how to defend and how to practice. That tells me, Donnie, this guy's coming in. He's going to teach. He's going to make these guys better. But when a coach says there's going to be hard rules, that tells me not that he's a hard ass, but you better play his way or there's going to be issues.
I've said for a long time since Bruce Boudreau joined the Canucks, December 2021, that I really enjoyed listening to him talk about hockey.
Yeah.
I felt the same way with Rick Tocchet yesterday.
Yeah.
And look, I don't like what the Canucks have been up to. All I'm saying is I like the way Rick Tocchet came across yesterday. At the very least, he looked like a leader. And one of the things he talked about, and we hope to run the clip later on, less ice time for some of the stars.
JT Miller?
That, he feel JT Miller, Elias Pettersson maybe not used on the PK, that he felt the players were pacing themselves too much. Bruce, at the very least, you may agree with it or disagree with it. It was interesting to listen to. Patrick Johnston, we got him now?
I think so.
Patrick, you there?
Hi, hello.
Yes,
Hi.
all right. Beautiful.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Patty.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, Patty.
It took 20
Busy.
minutes, but
No.
we got you. Thanks for putting up with us.
Donnie, your tweet yesterday was spot on. Staging matters, man. Details matter.
Thank you very much.
on.
Well, we'll deal with that later. We want the focus to be on you, Patrick, especially after we screwed up moments ago. How do you feel? Rick and I just talked about it. How do you feel Rick Tocchet came across yesterday?
I mean, he's an NHL head coach. He's ready to do a job. I think he knew, given everything, he was going to come into a difficult spot. I'm not sure what else he knew. So pick your, had your choice of cliches. He picked the elephant one. We'll see. Proof will be in the pudding. In the end, as many have pointed out, the track record is not amazing, but has a good past relationship with this management team. And, we've been saying it's sort of put up or shut up time, and they've got their guy now. So we'll see where we go.
Yes, so much talk about defense and structure. Has he got a chance, in your opinion, Patrick, to improve this team defensively, given the roster he's inherited?
Well, the roster is the big question. I think the results bar is, it's so low. If he doesn't, then you really have worries. But that said, Bruce Boudreau and his team worked they worked all season trying to make it better. And then, we were seeing every game, it felt like, in recent days. There'd be at least one defensive breakdown. where a player would be left all by himself. Like you think of that Steve Stamkos goal last week. That was, it's Paul Stastny did the same thing in Carolina. Like the list goes on of moments where they would just break down. So if he can fix that, the Canucks, I guess, will be in more games because that's been a problem. The PK's been a problem. I'm not sure he's going to, unless he suits them up and has a miraculous comeback, he's going to sort out the problem of depth scoring. I mean, obviously this team has scored enough at the top end, but you look at the guys on the bottom two lines for the most part, there's just been no production, especially late from those guys. And, there's so many problems on this team. The structure in the end of the roster is a mess, and we've been saying that for a while. So until they get that right, this team's going to kind of be, at best, what we always thought it was going to be, which is a team that's sort of on the bubble of the playoffs.
Pat, I think it's safe to say the entire hockey world had their eyes on Vancouver on the weekend. I mean, everybody. I mean, I know you had a comment about agents and how it's going to affect agents, what's happening in Vancouver. What is the perception around the NHL of Vancouver right now?
It's not good, man. Like, I mean, I talk to, I hear from players, I hear from agents, everyone's aghast. Is that a word I'm allowed to use here?
Yes.
I mean, people are appalled.
Yes.
People are appalled at what's going on here. And the fact that this strung out for so long. I mean, Bruce himself said that he thought he was going to be let go in November. I mean, I remember taking a photo. I think I tweeted it out. It was sort of right after they got back from that road trip around Hall of Fame weekend, and he was sitting there by himself on the bench and thought that was over. And that was 2 months ago. And this dragged out, and it's in the end, as I think we've talked about. This is there's an overall, no matter what management may be trying to do, there has been a long-standing cultural problem coming from the top. And things can happen. Things happen only, if the ownership's involved. And, that I think is a big reason why we saw what happened with Bruce Boudreau. It wasn't fair to the man. He wasn't getting the results. He knew that. It's a results-based business, and you will hold your job only as long as you're able to deliver the results. So the dismissal was not unreasonable. But the way it played out was terrible, and teams look at that, or players look at that, and agents look at that, and there's so many other sort of frustrations we've heard behind the scenes. There was the renovations to the dressing rooms that I guess is done, but took a long time, spilled into the beginning of the season, all kinds of other things. You go back to how things went when the team all had COVID in spring of 2011 or 2021, and there's just a long-standing overall frustrations with people with how things happen here, and they've all spilled over with how things went down with Boudreau.
Well, the other one for me is the players and what are they thinking. And if they did go into Bruce's office after the game Saturday and they were crying right there with him, they love this guy. The big one for me is going to be Pettersson, and it's going to be Patrick. He's the big one because this summer he can sign. What are his views on the organization? Does he want to sign long-term? Those are going to be some important questions.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a thing about it a few weeks ago, and obviously at the beginning of that last road trip, I talked to Pat Passon, and he was very careful in how he's answering, but, and Petey as well, very careful, in the end, but they did lay it all out last year, basically. I think, say, I want to be on a winner. I want to see a plan, and you can understand why a player of his caliber would have worries about how things are going. He's not going to say it, but, you don't have to be that sharp to think about how a player of his caliber would be wanting to see things going and being concerned about how things have gone here in recent months. And in the end, another year where they're not in the playoffs, as fun as last year's push was, and as important it was for Pettersson to find his game again, and as good as he's been this year, it hasn't been enough. And you look at other players around the league that have forced the situation. You look at Jack Eichel, things like that, and you start going, there's a lot of player power in this league now, and they can force a lot of things. And if he's unhappy, if he's not seeing the success he wants, this could turn in a direction. They're being smart. They're playing safe in terms of how they talk about it. But I would not be shocked if this thing turns in a bad direction for the organization if things aren't going in a positive direction. And I think we can all understand that from anyone's perspective.
Patrick, what will you remember about covering Bruce Boudreau, and does he get another job in hockey?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he certainly is hopeful he'll get another job. There's opening at Pinty now, I guess, and he has been there before. His openness, his willingness to talk, that character, I think that thing that everybody stands out. I mean, we obviously saw the run of emotions of it all over the weekend, starting on Friday when, he was asked about how much he loves coaching and the emotion got to him. And, he was able to talk about it later, and the passion he has for working with people. And Luke Shen talking about that on Saturday when I talked to him just about, this is a guy that you would try to meet up with away from the rink. Like, this is a person, it's not often, coaches are careful, we can understand why, everyone has their own way of approaching things. But Bruce has been in this so long, such a strong sense of what he brings to the table, what makes him effective as a leader, that care for people, for his players, that is something that will always stand out. And it was refreshing. It was nice to see. And I think a lesson for us all, treat people how you want to be treated, and no matter what's going on, be good to people. And he was very good to people.
Yeah. Let me say this, Patrick. The second part of this interview was way better than the first part.
Well, it's a miraculous thing that happens every day here with Ryan, right?
Oh,
That's right.
every day, every single day.
Hey, listen, we're a little sensitive about technical difficulties, so let's just get right off the subject. Fairly short notice, Patrick. Thanks for joining us. We sure appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet.